For thousands of years, whenever a city fell or an army was crushed, the explanation was simple. The gods were in a bad mood. No one investigated human causes because no one thought to ask the question. Then came a man named Herodotus. With his massive text, the Histories, humanity finally stopped accepting myth and started asking why. But here is the strange part. Even though he essentially invented the concept of history, his harshest critics gave him a very different title, the father of lies. So we have to figure out exactly what this 2,500-year-old book really is. We need to see if his accounts stand up to modern investigation, or if the book is just a collection of rumors. Herodotus realized you can't learn about the world by sitting in a library. He decided to physically travel to the edges of the known world to ask people directly what they saw. He went south to Egypt, east to Babylon, and north to Scythia. Scythia was a vast region in central Eurasia, populated by nomadic warrior tribes. By talking to everyone he met, he compiled the world's first massive data set of human behavior. He had one simple journalistic rule: write down absolutely everything he heard. He even recorded the local rumors he thought were completely absurd, which ended up setting a massive trap for his future critics. Let's look at his most absurd claim. In his notes on India, Herodotus described massive, furry ants that spent their days digging up gold nuggets. You can imagine how later scholars reacted. For centuries, this single story made him a laughingstock in the academic world. But recently, modern researchers visited a specific high-altitude region of the Himalayas and found a species of marmot. A marmot is a large, burrowing rodent, and when these Himalayan marmots dig, they naturally kick up gold dust from the soil. Herodotus was faithfully reporting exactly what the locals told him. This teaches us how to read his work. Even if a story sounds physically impossible, there is almost always a vital grain of human truth buried inside if you investigate the source. That commitment to truth drives the central narrative of his book, The Persian Wars. It is an underdog story, pitting the massive Persian Empire against a scattered, constantly bickering group of Greek city-states. He spends half the book setting the stage for this conflict. He immerses you in the cultures of the wider world so you understand exactly what is at stake. When he visits Egypt, he gathers incredibly specific data. In fact, his notes are the primary reason we know so many of the anatomical details behind their mummification practices today. He applies that exact same objective lens to the enemy. He refuses to paint the Persian kings, Cyrus and Xerxes, as simple villains. Instead, he explores their motivations through the concept of hubris. Hubris is a dangerous, blinding pride that causes powerful people to overestimate their abilities and make fatal mistakes. By treating both sides with genuine curiosity, he takes what could have been a simple piece of wartime propaganda and turns it into a high-stakes political thriller about human ambition. Through all of these travels and interviews, Herodotus observed a consistent pattern. Every population he visited lived under a set of rules they believed were the only logical way to exist. This split-screen graphic illustrates a sociological experiment. A king asked Greeks if they'd eat their deceased parents. They were disgusted. He then asked a tribe that consumes their dead if they'd burn the bodies. They were equally horrified. This record marks the first time someone documented the friction of cultural norms, proving that every nation assumes its own customs are the center of the universe. By recording these clashing perspectives without taking a side, Herodotus forced his readers to see the world through someone else's eyes. He provided the tools to understand a stranger's logic rather than just condemning their habits. He leaves us with a sharp thesis on why seemingly invincible empires eventually collapse. They fail the moment their leaders stop listening to the truth of the world around them and surrender to their own ego. That ancient realization still holds up today. His early insights into human behavior planted the seeds for modern anthropological works, like Yuval Noah Harari's book *Sapiens*. *Sapiens* is a popular history book that explores how biology and culture shaped the evolution of humankind. Ultimately, Herodotus uses history to examine why humans fight and how they choose to remember their own actions. I've put a link to an excellent translation of the Histories down in the description. Let me know in the comments what ancient classics you've read, and make sure to hit that subscribe button. We are getting very close to our milestone for the upcoming book giveaway.